feelings of guilt as we look back on our decisions, and whether that's immediately after or maybe like down the road looking back, they're common and it's normal. It's a part of bereavement to question yourself and those decisions. And so I think one of the things to know is that when you're supporting a friend who's going through this or supporting a family member, saying things like, oh, don't feel guilty about that. You made the best decision. While that has good intentions, telling somebody not to feel guilty about something isn't overly helpful. And so what can we do with that? We can honor and recognize it as being a valid feeling. Yes, I can see that you would feel that way. And perhaps look at ways to clear that guilt and some coping strategies. The first thing that I say to clients experiencing this is because we partner in making this decision, we made the best decision with the information that we had and the resources that we had at that time. And so when you start to feel guilty about it, you could write down, what are you feeling guilty about? Write down all the things that you're feeling guilty about as a letter to your pet, and perhaps ask your pet for forgiveness. That's one step that you could try. If you're like a pros con type person writing out lists, you could also do the same thing. Write down all the things that you feel guilty about on one side, and on the other side, write down all the things that you did for your pet that were positive throughout their entire life. And I bet you when you've gone through that list, the list of all the positive things that you've done far outweigh those negative feelings of guilt that you have. Also to recognize that we are all human. We can't control this. As much as we'd like this to be in our control, it's not in our control. Pets die, and it's hard and it's difficult. And grief that we feel and the guilt is a part of that grief. That's a natural response to the love and the loss that we feel. I think our natural tendency is to want to fix things, to want to make things better for people. And when it comes to grief and pet loss and those experiences, not trying to create solutions for their grief and their loss, it's important to know that just showing up and being there to support your friend or your family member through this is so important. That they can talk about their feelings, and potentially you have the opportunity there to validate those feelings, to really say, I hear you and I see, I feel sad too. This is hard, because other people in your life, they also had a relationship with your pet and they'll have some of their own feelings too. Just get another pet, or, oh, it was just a dog, just a cat, like just get another one. That's not helpful. So I would definitely avoid that. When it comes to children, I think the biggest thing is just being open and welcoming their questions, their thoughts, their input. And again, validating their experience, saying that, it's normal to feel sad or angry or, whatever emotion they're feeling. And then say, I wish things were different too. Don't lie, be honest. Don't make up things that you don't know if they have a question. It's important as an adult to tell children, you didn't cause it, you can't catch it, and you can't cure it. So that's with respect to what was going on with their pet and their ultimate end, their death. And if you're in this state of grief and loss, and these are people that you've heard this from once, potentially try and distance yourself from those people and really focus on people who support you. It truly is a personal decision, but some things to consider would be, don't rush into that decision. It is important to go through the grief and the feelings of loss to start to heal before you can open your heart back up again to another life, another love. Another thing too would be to say, if you rush into it, it may feel a little bit like replacing. And it's important when you have children for them to understand that each life in and itself has its own value and is precious. And there is no replacing. When you make a decision to rehome a pet because of a new infant, for example, or potentially due to safety issues, safety above all is the most important. As much attachment as you have to your pet, if it is not safe for any member in your family to have this pet around, but they would still potentially do better in a different situation, then you are actually being a responsible owner, a responsible dog owner, in making the best decision for that pet, that they will have a better life living in this situation where there's not these other stressors. And the other one being time and energy. That's a huge resource. I'll actually share that I am being a responsible dog owner currently by not having a dog. And the reason why that is because I don't have the time right now in my life to take care of a dog the way that a dog needs to be taken care of. What I would say is it's normal to feel a lot of feelings about this, including guilt in making the decision. But again, when we're talking about guilt, we have got to look at the information that we had at the time that we made the decision. And more specifically to this question, the resources. So a lot of the time, the reason why the decision is being made is due to the resources. But another thing that I would say is that if there's other people in your life that are sharing comments or asking questions about this decision, it's none of their business. It's your life. You made the decision. Shame on them for making you feel bad.